Yeah.
Of all the tools you could use, you choose the rings. And I've heard you talk about this before. It's not the bar muscle up, it's not so many other choices you can make, but you always have said that this is the one that you think most effectively works certain shoulder structures. Why? Why these?
Well, the rings are a genius tool. First, they will always move in 360 degrees to your weakest pattern, which makes it an ultimate tool for development. It's like you're weak here, it will move there. It will make you stronger there, now it will move here, ad nauseum. So it makes you very, very stable, very strong. Second thing, they allow a phenomenon called a closed kinetic chain. Closed kinetic chain versus open kinetic chain movements. The ring is the ultimate closed kinetic chain tool. You have to manipulate your center mass of the body in between 2 points, which are not even fixed, versus an open kinetic chain where you manipulate the extremity towards the center of mass of the body, which is fixed, like a lat pull down,
right,
versus a pull up, where I have to move my body towards the point, the anchor. A lat pull down, I can do a lot of weight in the gym. It doesn't mean much about my ability to do chin-ups, pull-ups, muscle-ups. But vice versa, we've shown in research to have greater transferability. Okay. So the rings are, this is just 2 reasons out of many. They also offer just enough instability, but not too much instability, which is another misunderstood thing, is people think that instability is good, stability is bad. No, not necessarily. If you stand on a Swiss ball and you try to squat to get your legs strong, you'll never get enough intensity, enough weight to really get those legs strong. It's an example where too much instability will hinder your development. But in the rings, they will move just enough and will still enable you to go through a lot of tension, a lot of intensity work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
there are many more reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just cutting it short.
Right. And the price is right.
Price is right. Nobody can really patent this. Nobody can patent this. Hence, nobody can really make big money off of it. They can just sell you. They take material, they make a ring, they sell you the rings. And I love it because it has existed for a long time. Look at it. It's a perfect circle. What can be wiser? It allows you to transition from working below the rings to above the rings. So what did we do? We padded the handles. We changed the structure. We connected it at the top. We painted it in neon colors and we sell it for triple the price. I don't like it. I don't like it and I won't support it.
You don't like the whole idea of someone taking something that should be a basic human right and commercializing it and changing it and charging a profit for it. That bothers you to the core, doesn't it?
Yes, especially when it's about merchandise. Yeah, you educate people, great. You know, that's something else. Or you sell a tool, you sell those rings, you made them with your hands, that's great. You innovated something which works, patent it, no problem. But when you water it down, when you destroy it in the process and you make a profit, that's not honest.
Right. And you said to look out these rings with the wood, this width, this is what you want, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cheap, so basic. When I bought my first set of rings, they cost me close to $300. And these ones nowadays, $30.
Right.
So this is really thanks to the CrossFit community, which made it so affordable and available.
There was one point during the seminar that you showed me your elbow and you said, this is the muscle I have from doing rings. And that's when I truly realized that you are an alien. Because I looked at my arm and I didn't have the same muscle that you have. And that comes from the stabilization work you do? Rings?
It is part of the ring work.
Can I see your...
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the
this
muscle there. I don't really have one on.
It's a little bit different, huh?
So this muscle there comes from?
It comes from a lot of those corset protocols that we've discussed.
Okay.
This protection over the joints, because the joints are placed in compromised positions and are being demanded, develop or else. And the rings do that to a certain extent, and there are other things that we employ to protect the body. This muscle appears in many different areas, and these small muscles, small stabilization, auxiliary muscles. It won't win me any bodybuilding competitions, it won't get me the girls on the beach, but it will protect me. Yeah, and when I did some BJJ this week, I definitely had an extra protection when placed in all kinds of compromised positions.
Can you just talk me briefly about what the corset's all about and why you use that name? I know we didn't talk about it, but just as a general theory, when you talk about protecting yourself?
Yeah, the corset is a library of protocols that I collected from a variety of disciplines, from dance to gymnastics to martial arts to all kinds of pieces that I collected all over the world throughout my travels and my studies, from my younger years in traditional Chinese martial arts. And it's basically my attempt to make a small encyclopedia of protective exercises to create a flexible body armor around the body so we can play better. Because my realization was, when we play, shit happens. And we take more risks, we move around, and we need a stronger constitute. And we need an ability to adapt, to go into the fire to a certain extent. Yeah, and it's about mobilizing the body, but strengthening it at the same time. It's about affecting the soft tissues. It's about thickening certain tendons. And I'm not talking about this tendon strength that is many times promoted and misunderstood. The tendon is not meant to contract or to create motion, but it should take pressures. It's about thickening cartilage and creating more synovial fluid motion and improving your life and feeling more capable, more pain-free, and more having more freedom to move.
Okay, very good. What did you see in my ring muscle up? It needs some work, to say the very least. I was almost a little embarrassed to put it up online or to show it to you, because it's such a basic form, and I know my knees are coming up, but I'm learning, and I think I'm getting that neuroplasticity and starting to get through the movement patterns. And it came from you showing me those basics at the experience, where I knew that if I did these things, I would get there. I used a lot of that exercise of that motion back and forth for a minute. It's a very painful exercise, and I was just wondering what I should do to take myself to the next level when it comes to these.
First, it doesn't look ugly to me. There is nothing ugly. There is no ugly motion. You're going through a beautiful process where your nervous system is tuning itself and perfecting itself in this pattern. It can be tighter, it can be more technical, and that can be through the help of collective knowledge, someone like me stepping in and taking you through this huge leap with technical cues and help. And it can happen also by yourself through your intuition and just working that pattern, which will be more limited maybe, but will definitely also happen. So we need to get you a little bit tighter. We need to get you aggressively patient, which is a very important combination when working on the rings. You need to drive and reach certain positions very strongly, and yet you need to pass through these checkpoints. And you sometimes kind of skip some checkpoints. For example, as you're pulling to the center of your chest, that contact is our first checkpoint to start to initiate the transition. Okay. A muscle up is from a pull into a push. And you have to smoothly transition between a pull and a push, and what is in between them is sometimes a very tricky moments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to consciously touch that chest.
You have to touch that checkpoint Charlie,
okay.
and then you can transition very smoothly. If you initiate the transition too early, it will look jerky and you will kind of fall back down in the ladder. You know, it's a little bit like the hierarchical positional thing in BJJ. Once you got to you got to a mount, you don't want to fall back into a neon belly.
Right, right.
You know, so you can only progress onwards in position. So here, once you got up there, you don't want to go back down. You want to transition and continue to drive onwards.
Okay. Should we try one?
Yeah, let's do a few exercises to lead up to it first to make sure we clean it up.
Okay.
And we'll take some of that. Since those rings are pretty smooth, I always prefer the unpolished rings.
Okay, because they have a little more grip.
Yeah, they might rip the skin a little bit more,
Okay.
but they have a little bit more grip, so you might want to use a little bit of chalk.
Okay. Should we
Yeah.
get some chalk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got some liquid chalk. Is that all right?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the liquid chalk, but it's better than nothing, and
Better than
especially
nothing.
when you travel,
Right.
it's more,
Okay.
usually more realistic.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna get some other stuff. So you
Yeah.
use chalk? Yeah.
I will not need much. Sometimes I ask
Okay.
people, like, smell it. Does it smell like something you would swallow? No. In the military, when you find a piece of plant and you're not sure if you can eat it, what the first thing that you do? You rub it on your skin
Right.
to see if there is a reaction. So if you wouldn't swallow it, wouldn't also put it on my skin.
All right. So you're not gonna do it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I can get away without it. Yeah. So one of the first thing is just to get this very nice false grip. Yeah. And sometimes people just do it with a flexed wrist, but I actually also supinate the pinky down, and I bring my elbows in, and you can even just lightly test that false grip and see if that grip is deep enough and strong enough.
Okay. So I remember you at the movement experience, you said to kind of start gripping it up here, and then.
Yes, yeah, that's a very nice grip. Yeah, and just lean back slightly and kind of try to extend the elbows and maintain that tight grip.
Right. And turn it as well.
Beautiful, yeah. And now pull yourself up to the center of the chest. Nice, and repeat it maybe 3 more times.
Okay. I still haven't got to the full hang up to the muscle up.
Should be coming very, very
Yeah.
soon, very soon, yeah.
But I find the grip is very important. That if I can get really locked in on the
the
base,
grip, yeah.
then I feel it's strong, and then I can really concentrate on the muscle movement. But if it feels slippery, I feel like
That's true. That's true. And the reason is, what is really the false grip? Why are we using that grip? And it's actually very simple. If you look at my hand, when I'm in a support position on top of the ring,
yeah,
if I just grip the ring and I lock my wrist in place and I take my elbow down, I reach the false grip.
right,
So now actually the false grip is a way for us to make sure we would be able to transition between these two very efficiently.
right.
Now if I slide slightly out, that would become much more difficult as I put a strain on the wrist and do not have yet the mechanical leverage to transition. So if I try to transition from here to a support, that would probably slip off. That can be done later on in more advanced stages, but in the beginning, super important.
Okay.
So the next thing that we will do is just, let's go through a false grip chin up or a pull up.
Okay.
And you would assume the same position here, and you will lower only as far as you can comfortably lower while maintaining that grip, and then pull to the center of your chest. It can mean going all the way through or just partial range of motion.
Okay.
Try.
The other thing I find when I'm doing this exercise, are we getting a? Oh, you're back.
We're on part 2.
Oh, you're back. Oh, this is what part 2.
Attach everything to the trees
Oh, okay.
because
This
all
is-
the trees are protected under Royal Park regulations.
Okay. There's a concept of restricted movements, and we were just restricted from doing movements. How does that make you feel when we're trying to move in a park and and we can't because of the authorities.
To watch the full episode of my moving conversation with Ido Portal for free, go to LondonRealAcademy.com.